Right, guys, welcome back to another shot of Cashrewards, MarTech TV. I'm so privileged to have Todd Crawford, the co-founder of Impact Radius online, and I'd say an industry veteran back from the days of Commission Junction in the late 90s, early 2000s at least. So really pleased to have you on the show, Todd. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, let's get into it. So give us a brief rundown of what Impact Radius does.
Okay, so we are a global marketing analytics technology provider. And what that means is we basically focus on three things. We're probably best known for our affiliate tracking and management solution. We call it Partner Manager. We also have a product called Media Manager, which really acts as a single system of record for a marketing department to track all of their marketing, import all of their spend, and then they can do all the analysis and, if they wish, add attribution on top of it to do comparisons and things like that. And then we recently acquired a company called Forensic, and what they bring to the table is the ability to combat mobile and online ad fraud, which, you know, it's a really hot topic. There's billions of dollars in display and click fraud, but also as affiliate marketers, conversion fraud. So we're helping, you know, all these products kind of work together in concert and really provide a lot of value. Clients can use them individually, but we're looking at a holistic solution.
Okay.
We started the company in 2008, launched in 2010. We're now 300 people globally.
Nice.
We've got offices in Sydney, California, Ohio, New York, London, and Cape Town. So
cool.
pretty exciting growth.
Yeah, nice. Well, look, you've always been leading, and some of your coupon technology has been at the forefront of proper coupon attribution for years. So we might touch on that. We'll touch on ad block and forensic and ad fraud a bit later as well. Quite keen a little bit about attribution, because obviously what we find here is, you know, DoubleClick and Google Analytics is still the go-to source for tracking. So when it comes to attribution for Impact Radius, are you finding people are moving their single source of the customer to you guys, or are you plugging into DoubleClick and analytics tools as well, and you supplementing that?
Yeah, I think our vision is to be agnostic, right? So if a company has an analytics model they like, we want to be able to import that or run that for them. But what we really want to be is that single source of record. And I think what you're saying, and I think this happens in all markets as they mature, is that the concept that you should be looking at all your data through one system, not piecemealing in a spreadsheet disparate data sources, right? You pull your affiliate data from an affiliate network, you get your display, your paid search data, your social, and you kind of mush it together, and you're really not adding up apples to apples to apples. And so these systems count impressions and clicks differently and conversions, and you don't even have all the same answers across channels. So I think it's kind of a natural instinct, or nobody really argues with the idea that, well, wouldn't it be great if everything was counted the same way, all the same answers to all the same questions were applied to every channel, and we had all our costs pulled in and automate a lot of this, so there isn't human error or kind of, you know, that seems pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think the market is open to that. With attribution, I think people feel like they're missing out if they don't have it, but they're not really sure what to do with it yet. They're not maybe using it to make decisions because they don't know how to use it. It's something like you have this information, but you don't know how to interpret it to your business, and that's where we help, right? We can give you all the data, but if you don't know how to make sense of it as it applies to your business, that's where I think people get a little bogged down or don't get the same value they should.
Look, and we can speak about ours and attribution, but one final point, you know, we've seen as well, like attribution, looking at Google's ad spend and brand terms and saying, you know, that's not really incremental, but then the brand themselves aren't making business decisions on whether to invest on that basis. Or certainly other keywords might be seemingly too expensive, but Google's setting the price of those, you know, and it's not going to change the price down just because your incrementality or actually the way you attribute those keywords in the journey. So yeah, trying to get actionable insight out of attribution, I've seen is probably the most difficult thing in the market.
You know, I have an interesting thing that ties right into what you said. We had a client was in women's apparel.
Yep.
And they noticed they had pre-attribution. They had a very expensive keyword, drove lots of clicks, but had no conversions associated with it based on last click.
Yep.
And it was called cute summer dresses.
Right.
And so they said, let's get rid of that. It tanked their sales tremendously. I'm talking double-digit loss in sales.
Yeah.
And what they didn't realize was that was a keyword that people started at the top of the funnel.
Yeah.
And they used that to find out that this brand did sell cute summer dresses. Then they started finding more refined keywords that were associated with closer to the conversion event. And so I think when you think of attribution data, this is where it can provide value, where you can understand how all the touch points are contributing, and that some of these keywords have to happen upper funnel for the later keywords to work.
Well, that's it. You can't just spend all your time in the bottom of the funnel. Otherwise, you don't grow your pie from prospecting size. But look, I don't know. I hope we can do more of these because, that topic alone is huge. All right, let's move on. So, biggest trends in advertising that you're seeing, stateside or globally, and in the context of Impact Radius?
Yeah, I think you just said the word globally. I think what we're seeing is brands now are looking at a global strategy. Now, not everybody is global. There's brands that operate only in Australia. There's brands that operate only in the States. But the brands that are operating globally are no longer kind of saying, well, we've got different offices coming up with their own strategy and doing it their way, picking their own solutions. There's kind of this more of a standardization and a vision. And you can have nuances for in-market culture differences and things like that. But in general, I'm seeing a big and I use one of our clients, Lenovo, where they had initially launched an affiliate program globally. They're in dozens of countries globally.
Yep.
And they had picked different affiliate networks.
Yep.
And thinking, well, we'll pick the strongest networks in every market. And the challenge was now they had different teams with different ideas and different, this team's managing this country and this team's managing that country, and they had no global vision and no control, even though they tried to initiate that.
Yeah.
Certain markets just want to do what they want to do. So they came to us, they relaunched and expanded, and now they have this one person, kind of the conductor of the orchestra, and they're rolling out a really unified global strategy of seeing better growth, better margins, and more consistency and apples-to-apple measurement across markets, which I think is huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
And it's kind of like a mini single source of truth when it comes to just affiliate on a global strategy.
Yeah. It also means that publishers can work in multiple regions without having to have multiple logins and without having to have multiple data sources too. So it's a huge benefit for anyone going globally to use a global platform.
Right, and then obviously you have to take into consideration payment capabilities and things like that, which we handle. But I'm just saying it's interesting to see a brand like Lenovo realize that and actually implement it very quickly and realize the benefits from it very quickly. So to me, I think it's exciting, and we're seeing more and more companies that we work with go that way.
Okay.
The other is just this concept of this, as I talked about earlier, this single source of truth, this single, this is our marketing truth, because companies now have, we look at our analytics, but then you have the paid search team looking at their paid search tool and the affiliate team looking at their affiliate network, and then the CMO or the VP saying, well, I'm measuring you off of our other product, which is not looking as good or makes you look better, right? So you have these disconnects, so it's really hard for everybody to be in sync. And typically paid search kind of rules the roost because they have the biggest budget and they drive the biggest results. So usually everybody has to kind of bend to their will, which again isn't maybe optimal for the whole. So I think this single source of truth, this single record is really, I think, starting to resonate more with marketers, and I'm hopeful this trend in 2017, people are going to try to standardize on something or at least test with it to get to that point. And then the third point that is really hot is this whole talk about ad fraud. I mean, it's in the billions of dollars. Yeah. There are giant non-human botnets. They basically take over computers. They fake impressions and traffic, and and marketers are paying for it. So I think those are some of the biggest things that are affecting marketers in general in 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I just met a guy that done a study in Australia, said there's $100 million at least in ad fraud in Australia. That represents about 8% of digital ad spend. I saw something in the UK about £600 million. I mean, it must be billions of dollars in the US. I mean, even I mean, what are you doing as well, like with respect to ad block as well? Because I mean, whilst that's nothing to do with ad fraud, for us, it's a massive issue. We see maybe 20% of our users use ad block, but we don't know whether certain tracking technologies are affected or not, and there's no clear information coming to us about how to activate or educate our users. What Impact Radius doing with ad block?
Well, most of the ad blocking subscribe, like if you and I said, let's start a new company and build ad blocker. Well, how are we going to know what ads to block? So what they do is they subscribe to a list. The most popular list is called Easy List, I think, and they have two lists. They have a ad serving list and they have a privacy list. So you can work with them. It's not easy, but you can work with them to get clarification on what should be on the list. Sometimes they'll put domains that shouldn't be, like our website URL was on their list. So that doesn't make sense. We don't do any tracking or ad serving from that. So impactradius.com doesn't make sense. But you can also potentially get whitelisted. It's not clear cut how that works. No. And then there's educating, users. Obviously, you guys interact with consumers. If they are seeing ads blocked or their cashback isn't being rewarded, and you say, well, we know you're using an ad blocker, that prevents the tracking mechanism sometimes. But you can see in those lists the domain. So if you know you're working with a certain affiliate network or vendor, you can ask, what are your domains that we should be understanding if you're on there or not, and do tests and see how they're affected. But
a lot of them are daisy chained with double click in them and a multiple ad servers in there. So even by the time they hit the affiliate network, you've already gone through 4 probably ad blocked ad servers. I mean, certainly, as I say, we don't take the approach that Ebates are doing, where we're proactively telling people, hey, you've got ad block, because we think that's going to scare them off. I mean, ultimately, it's their choice to use it. We certainly say if they've got a mistracked sale that, hey, perhaps in future we won't pay out if you're going to keep ad block on. But especially in Australia, where the market's so behind in terms of online purchase intent, we just don't think that proactively telling people to turn it off is a solution.
Well, I think it's also the consumer's perspective. Like, I think the way ad block is marketed is that it's protecting you, right, against cookies, or your privacy. So, there's a little bit of truth to that, but not that much. And I've never used it. I don't know what the internet's like going around with no ads. I don't know that that's a better like user experience.
It's got faster load times on pages, that's for sure, and certainly when I've been testing my VPN and looking just who's serving ads on Pirate Bay, for example, not that I go there for any other reason, just to view the ads. When I put it on those kind of peer-to-peer and torrent sites, the user experience is amazing, But apart from that, I wonder what I'm missing out on when I have it on certain sites. And a lot of sites proactively tell me to turn it off. Like, I think Forbes tells me to turn it off. Wall Street Journal won't let me see content unless I turn it off. So, and in that sort of sense, they're doing the right thing.
I've heard that it's trending down. It was trending up, the adoption of ad block. So maybe it's peaking. I don't know.
I think it is a fad, and it will go. I mean, it's up to the advertisers and networks like yourselves to be responsible with the ads we push, right? And hopefully the ecosystem isn't tarnished by the bottom players who are taking liberties with some of our marketing dollars as well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, so have we done? Was that the challenges? Did we do challenges? I think might have done challenges in there. Well, there's so many challenges. But let's move on. Like big game changers for Impact Radius.
Well, I mean, we have acquired 3 companies in almost a year. So we acquired Clear Sailing to help with our attribution. We acquired Forensic, as I said, on the ad fraud side. And we acquired a company called 5IQ, which they are a database where they've crawled the entire internet or above a certain Alexa ranking, of course. And they detect those sites that have affiliate links on them, and then we index them so that an advertiser can say, well, I want to find affiliates that I don't have.
Yeah.
And so they're always looking for more demand. Well, if you work in an affiliate network, the only affiliates you can find are the affiliates in the network, or they have to find you. At least with Impact Radius, we offer kind of that transparent marketplace so they can search for each other. But now we're adding this media partner discovery tool where you can do things like, these are my 3 biggest competitors. So then we'll say, okay, well, here's the pool of affiliates that you share. Here's the ones that you have that they don't have, and here's the ones that they have that you don't have. So now you can refine that list and try to recruit them. So I think it helps advertisers understand a little bit better. So those were the 3 acquisitions. So for us, the opportunity is just continuing to execute on our vision. I think we've got a solid vision, and I just came to this from a meeting about integrating that product even further into our tool and making it more seamless and adding some more CRM tools for recruitment. So we're real excited about continuing to push and innovate to really make it easier for marketers to get their jobs done, to grow their revenue, et cetera, and to understand it, measure it.
Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, we looked at the ecosystem here from a publisher perspective, and we thought there's only maybe like 4,000 publishers in Australia, and certainly in the US I hear there's maybe 500,000 different publishers at least. So a tool like that had huge value in a market that's so crowded.
Right, and the one thing about affiliates is they don't have to be Australian to promote an Australian brand, right?
No.
So I could live in Australia and promote US brands. Like I can build a website.
Well, look at Retail Me Not, was born out of Australia,
That's right. I remember Bev and all those down there.
He did well, but he did very well out of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest publishers in globally, but also especially in the US. So you can, live on a nice tropical island and be a top, or make enough money to cover your hut,
Yeah. I might move. The next call will be in the Bahamas or something there, Todd. Tax-free maybe. Join the ranks of Google perhaps. What's the biggest game? What do you think's the biggest challenge for cashback and cash rewards?
Well, I think, for you guys especially, any cashback, I guess, is just market share, right? You need the top consumers understanding what your product is and joining, right?
Yep.
And then, if I think about, here's what you're promising customers. Go and shop for free online and we'll give you money. Yeah. Right? Sounds too good to be true.
So tell me about it. Where do I sign up?
So where do I sign up? But as soon as I make an order and it doesn't track, I go, it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
So to me, I think the challenge in cashback is that user experience and the integrity of the tracking and the consistent rewards. I know a lot of the cashback sites, the bigger ones that are in other markets like the UK and the US, they'll maybe pay the consumer, even if it doesn't track, whether the advertiser gets them a make good or not, because they don't want the customer to have a bad user experience.
So we have a guarantee that if you've got a click and you've got an invoice, we'll pay you. That's fine. We can't expect the consumer or our members to do anything more than that. Virus software, cookies not working,
ad
blocking or advertisers attributing it to another channel. It's not the consumer's fault. It's way too complicated. I mean, we also think that instant cashback and instant speed, the speed of notification is so important. I mean, with sites like eBay, we're having to wait 3 days minimum before we can report a sale. And it just, as a user, you're like, did that work? And as a new user, I don't believe in the product. And I've acquired you, and now you've gone. It's, any things that can do on instant and speed is hugely important for us.
Yeah. So I think it's getting them habituated, right? Once they know it works, they do become addicted to it, right? It's like a game. They want to see their cash back go up and cash out, right?
No, we want to gamify it as well. And we'll probably tap you up with a few more questions about what Ebates are doing, in store. I mean, what's Impact Radius doing in store as well? Is you providing the rails or the services to be able to do in-store? I mean, certainly.
Yeah, we're partnering, and there's different ways in-store can occur. There's not like one way, right? So the simplest way is that you can see an online offer, you can print it or go into the store with a code and redeem it, and that point of sale system sends the data back, and we can track that way.
Does that happen a lot in the US? Do they have a good point of sale to be able to do that? We're struggling with that a bit here.
Right, it is a challenge. I think it's getting closer because retailers, especially national retailers, they need that real-time data, and they want to tie it to e-commerce as well, because they know, for a lot of the large brands, e-commerce is becoming bigger than the physical stores.
It certainly
is. 10 years ago, I can remember in the early 2000s where if e-commerce was the equivalent of one large physical store, like a Walmart, that would be a good e-commerce channel. Today, it's driving as much or more revenue in some cases. So it's amazing how much the offline is kind of waning, but yet they have that advantage over a pure play because they can get the consumer in two places. You're still going to, on the weekends, go run some errands, right? Or run to the store. So, they can get you that way. And so being able to, I think there's a push to tie those together more, which makes it easier. Two other ways that they're tracking is card-linked offers, right? So, hey, go to this store, just link your card online, and it'll credit your card. Again, my card doesn't get credited, I get nervous because you made me go buy something in a store and I didn't get my credit. So
how is Impact Radius facilitating any of that? Are you involved in that?
We're partnering with companies that do the card-linked offers already. And then obviously the advertiser has to want to do it, and they have to obviously have a physical store. They don't have to have a physical store to do a card-linked offer.
No, you can just turn on a pause. You
can do it online too, but most people see it as an online to offline kind of. And the other challenge with offline is that the online team has to get credit for driving offline revenue, or they don't want to do it. Or be gold to drive in-store sales from an online behavior. If that isn't connected, it doesn't matter about all the other pieces. You're not going to get an online marketing team to do it.
Well, it comes down to people, and it's siloed decision making. Even if the integration is like that, it's still going to exist because people are people, right? They want to get their KPIs and targets, then look after their own egos sometimes. So the technology might make it agnostic, but the decision making sometimes isn't, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So look, what are Impact Radius doing? We talked about who you've been acquiring, but let's just take your dream hat on and think about who you would love to acquire and why. Whether it be a huge DMP or some kind of, someone says, I want Facebook data, all of that. That would be awesome. I'd execute better advertising, that's for sure. But what's your view? What would you do, Todd?
Well, after acquiring 3 companies, two were medium-sized companies, one was small. That's a lot to digest. I think we did a great job. I'd give ourselves an A in integrating and making all that smooth. Honestly, I'd like to not acquire anyone else for a while because I think we've got so much opportunity with what we have. And it's just keep executing on our vision. If the right opportunity comes along, we probably would consider it, but
what about a media partner like Ebates and Rakuten, and Rakuten buying Ebates buying ShopStyle, which is still owned by Rakuten. What have you thought about buying a publisher or distribution potentially?
Well, then you're just running that as a business. You're not in an advantage. Like Ebates isn't going to do more for you if you're running your affiliate program on Rakuten than if you're running it on Impact Radius, right? No. So to me, it's just another diversified revenue stream, which if you look at Rakuten, that's what that whole company is. They have everything from baseball teams to digital marketing solutions. So, to me, it's just a diversified portfolio. Maybe it's synergistic, but it's just other revenue streams where we're really looking to be a holistic platform and a solution. So if it fits with our vision and can accelerate or give us best of breed sooner, or maybe give us more market traction, it would be something, or a capability. But we don't want to get outside of our vision and go, let's just acquire distribution, because our clients can get that distribution through us anyway, right?
Yeah,
So to me, we think more just about fulfilling our vision. That's why 5IQ was such a good fit for our partner manager product, Forensic for all of our products. I mean, being able to, if you think about attribution data, there's estimates that 20% of the media is fraudulent. Well, if you're now modeling all this data and 20% of it is garbage, you've got polluted data, you're getting bad attribution models.
Yeah,
so
and bad decision making then on the back of it.
Right, right. So that's part of our vision. We can take that out. Now I'm showing you pure data as opposed to polluted data, including polluted data in your models.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And was it James Collins, Good to Great, said your hedgehog concept, focus on your strengths and stick to them. So that's good in terms of diversification. So look, do you have finally, I've got a few tangential questions I'll ask at the end, but do you have any questions for Cashrewards?
Well, what's the adoption there? Is are you guys doing TV commercials to get people thinking about it, or are you just doing online ads? How are you kind of getting that awareness?
Okay, so the adoption, right now we're about 250,000 members, so 1% of the population. So the adoption's still immature. The adoption from advertisers in certain sections like telco, finance, and insurance is still immature. It's not a broad spectrum of advertisers in that space, and there's a huge volume of revenue associated in cashback to those advertisers. So we've got to do more to educate the advertisers and the market there. In terms of TVCs, we haven't done TVCs yet. We hope this year we'll be investing in that. We want to be bringing in store, and so if we're going to be educating the market about that, TV and an awareness campaign around that. But yeah, the biggest challenge here is certainly, I think that the breadth of advertisers is still quite thin. So out of the top 100 Australian retailers, we're hopeful that maybe 50 and 75% are doing it. But in the US, 100% will be on Ebates, for example. It's not even a question like affiliate marketing. I feel it fits, below paid search in terms of return on investment. But over here, Facebook is still just sitting way above affiliates in terms of decision making. And so we're struggling against that, I think. And everyone's sort of fighting the money that they're taking out of the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Does that answer the question at all?
Yeah. No, when you say 1%, are you talking about everybody in the outback that doesn't go online?
Again,
it's like the big metro areas. I would be looking at the penetration there, get into the 5-10%. You'll probably create that word of mouth momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once enough people are doing it, they're going to tell people they're doing it.
Yeah, certainly. Australia is, I think, 70 to 80% of people live on the coast and in metros anyway. And yeah, we're heavily indexing in metro centres. We've got people, funny stories, we say to people to go to the big supermarket here, Coles, and we've had emails from, Outback saying, well, that's a 5-hour drive to go to that. By the time I get there for cashback, I'll have spent so much on the petrol that it ain't worth it anymore. So it's great, the dynamics of the country, seeing it to pace like that, and us trying to unravel it as well. And look, we'll go deeper. Hopefully we'll do this another one of these, coming up and get deeper on some of these things. So look, finally, I've got a few strange questions for you. So, what apps are you using? Time-saving apps or things like that? I'm a big fan of Evernote and Waze. Anything cool coming out of the US that you started using?
Yeah, well, I do use Evernote. As a company, we use Slack. I really like Slack.
We're on Slack.
That's a great product. I'm trying to think. Let me look at my taskbar here when I've got it open. Of course, I use Twitter.
Do you use Calendly and Grammarly and things like that on all your...
obviously on my phone, I use Waze.
Love Waze.
But I'm not over the top. I stick to just a handful of things. Like when you kind of get in the rut, right? I download the new apps and I play with them and I'm like, it's not doing it for me.
No, they don't last long enough. I think 93% of all apps are deleted within 30 days, aren't they?
Well, I know I have over 100 apps on my phone, so, only using 5.
I wonder as well what the ecosystem looks like in terms of revenue driving for the percentage of apps. 80% of the revenue from apps comes from about 6 apps or something globally, I would have thought, something ridiculous like that. And then, are you a reader, Todd? Do you read any books, any insightful books you've been reading, interesting books? Or?
Yeah, I did get a Kindle for Christmas, and I gave my wife one as well.
Sweet.
I put some like sci-fi books, like just some friends on Facebook. We kind of talked about some sci-fi or horror books just to read for fun.
Downtime, taking it out,
Yeah.
not having to deal with marketing news or the IAB smart brief data and all of that. Yeah.
I mean, I get all that in my inbox, but mostly just reading, and I don't probably read as much as I wish I could, but
No. Well, look. Oh, and then finally the PMA. I mean, you're founded that. I mean, that's not related to the IAB, right? That's a completely independent
I was part
body.
of the original board there, and I'm now in another term as a board member. So the Performance Marketing Association, that's in the U.S. So what happened was the IAB in the U.K. kind of took performance marketing under its wing and created kind of a sub
council.
Wing, council, and they've been doing a lot of good work there. That hasn't happened with the IAB in the U.S. So the PMA was formed, and it is a nonprofit, organization that advocates on behalf of performance marketing. One of the unique things in the U.S. is we have some challenges with some legislation that affects affiliate marketers. It's around what's called Nexus.
Yeah, the tax, Yeah,
every state in the U.S. charges a state tax, right? There isn't a national, VAT or, so because of that, there was a law before the internet that you don't have to charge sales tax if you're not in that state.
Yeah.
But now these states want more tax revenue, so they wrote rules that say, well, an affiliate is like a salesperson. So if they are selling for you and they live in that state, you're going to have to collect and remit sales tax on all sales.
Yeah.
Which makes an advertiser say, well, I'll just do without affiliates in that state. So it creates a hodgepodge of problems. And so we're hopeful. I mean, the long-term answer is just that the requirement is all online sales, no matter what, everybody has Nexus, meaning everybody has to collect and remit sales tax if they're a U.S. business. So that would solve the problem, but that's been a big thing. But we also look to create standards and white papers and best practices. So we're doing a lot around just growing and making the industry, see us, the marketing industry, see affiliate marketing, or what I call it, performance marketing, right? The broader umbrella. And just making it as legitimate and as valuable as possible.
Okay. Well, look, what I'll do, Todd, after this is I'll grab some of those insights and share them in this market, because the IAB have started to kick something off here, but we need to take learnings from the US, learnings from the UK, and see how they're applicable to Australia, and whether the market needs some of these, like soft cookies and in SaaS sort of tools for shopping cart abandonment. And this would be good to share some of that with our community here for sure.
I think part of being I guess you guys, I always say, you have third mover advantage, right? You can see what mistakes we've made or where we've had success.
So we're not Friends Reunited, we're not MySpace, we can be like Facebook, right? And just get there and lap it all up and take all the learnings, okay?
Right. You just watch us fall down a few times and skin our knees, and then you go, we're not going to do that.
Well, why do you think I'm having this conversation with you now, Todd? Hey, No, I mean, in all seriousness, this is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I love speaking to you. I don't speak to you enough. I need to do it more often. I need to get over stateside as well. Maybe I'll go to the next affiliate summit or something and catch up. But let's just
you never know. Maybe I'll be coming down under.
Well,
we got an office there, right?
Yeah, it's about time we saw you on these shores. And you can get your bike out here and go on some crazy roads too. I mean, you'll enjoy that.
I'm scared to ride on the wrong side of the road.
It's the right side of the road, to be honest, Todd. Okay. All right, well, look, virtual handshake. Thanks a lot, Todd. This is awesome. I'll catch you again very shortly. Okay,
all right.
That's shot of Cashrewards MarTech TV. Cheers.